What's going on, guys? My name's Theoatrix, and welcome to 101 Tips and Tricks for Old School RuneScape. This is actually episode 20 of my Old School Tips and Tricks series, and I thought a cool 20th episode would be a fast collection of my best new tips as well as the most notable tips from the past. These tips are in no particular order, but I can almost guarantee that there will be so many in here that apply to you. Also, I'm going through these very quickly, so if you miss anything or you didn't get something, press the left arrow on your keyboard or double tap on the left side of your screen if you're on mobile to go back 10 seconds. Let's get started. As a brand new player to Old School RuneScape, one of the first things you want to do is go to the Stronghold of Security. Well, right after you get off Tutorial Island, if you walk over to the Lumbridge Graveyard, speak to Count Check, and ask him where you can learn more, he'll teleport you one time only straight to the entry of the Stronghold. My next tip is within the Stronghold of Security. If you aren't interested in reading what the doors have to say, then you can spam click on the door and it'll let you straight through without having to answer the question. If you're new, the Stronghold will provide some useful account information, but if you know what you're doing, just spam click the doors. On a Lizardman Slayer task, a lot of players choose to kill Shamans. The fastest way to get to the Slayer cave of Lizardman Shamans is by teleporting to raids using the Xerix on a teleport, travel with the mountain guide, run west and then via northwest, and the cave here is Slayer only, so you must be on a Slayer task to kill these Shamans. The house restoration pools are extremely useful for PKing, bossing, and skilling alike. Well, if you don't have one, a great way to replenish your player is by going to the Clan Wars White Portal. By going in and out, your health, prayer points, and stats are fully refilled and your skull is also removed. If you get disconnected during a raid at the Chambers of Xeric, as long as there's another ranked member in the clan chat online, you can log back into the same world and join back into the raid. Planting a spirit tree inside your player-owned house doesn't count towards your total farming count of spirit trees. When planting spirit seeds elsewhere, you're restricted to how many you can plant until level 99. Number 7, more of an interesting fact, but also quite a fast fishing method. If you have 38 fishing, you can bring stripy feathers along with a fly fishing rod to any fly fishing spot, and instead of catching trout or salmon, you'll always catch a rainbow fish. As of right now, it's very profitable to do this, and you get 80 XP per fish. If you find that your bank is getting cluttered with a lot of partly charged jewelry, you can go ahead and withdraw them all in noted form, head over to the runes guy at the Grand Exchange, and his right-click decant option will turn most jewelry into its max form, while destroying its smaller leftovers. When training your ranged or magic, wines are a great cheap food option, costing around 3 coins each and healing 11 hit points per jug. The cost though is they lower your attack level temporarily, so you can't use these when you're training melee combat. Obsidian armor has 0 magic attack bonus, which is very contrary to the massive negative bonuses of plate armor. This makes obsidian great for hybrid or tribrid PKing and bossing situations. When wearing any of the Ava's devices, you may notice it randomly picks up steel items or random other stuff while you're wearing it. You can actually toggle this option on and off by right-clicking and clicking on the commune option. Quick prayers allow you to prayer flick more than one prayer at a time. Let's say you only have 40 prayer and you don't have piety, so instead you can activate an attack, strength, and defense prayer as your quick prayer, and then you can prayer flick by clicking on and off your prayer orb very easily. On death to a monster outside of the wilderness, you'll keep all your untradables on death, and it doesn't count towards the 3 main items you'll keep. Well, you can actually use a volcanic or frozen whip mix on an abyssal whip to turn it into an untradable, and that adds it to your items kept on death without adding to the 3 main items. If you get assigned a Jad task and you don't feel up for the challenge, you can go in and out of the fight caves without completing any waves to instantly skip your task. This uses no Slayer points and won't reset your task count. By talking to the range tutor in Lumbridge, you can set it so that picking up arrows that you're currently wearing will go straight into your ammo slot. That's extremely handy for low levels and mainly one prayer pures that don't have Ava's devices. This next tip is for people that like AFK fishing. If you start fishing at a fishing spot and then right click on it, you can then click on the fishing option there if the spot moves, and your character will automatically run to the new spot. That saves you having to move your camera around to look for the next spot. Over the years, there's been a lot of changes to player-owned houses in Old School. One of the more unnoticed ones is setting your house doors to off. That way, when you go into your house, you don't have to open doors and there aren't any doors in the way, making your pathing distance smaller. In Castle Wars, you're not allowed to take in a cape or helmet. By using the Ava's accumulator on Lathis, he allows you to automatically retrieve your ammunition when you shoot it, even when not wearing an Ava's accumulator within a Castle Wars match. When training runecrafting at the Urania altar, when you go to bank with the guy at the entrance, you can talk to him to set up a default rune that's instantly taken from you in exchange for accessing your bank account. That's a little bit quicker. Now a tip for saving money while training construction, your demon butler requests payment from you every 8 trips, so with that, you can spend less money on retrieving planks if you get the maximum possible amount per trip. If you have a lot of holiday items and enjoy doing the holiday events, I really recommend creating a costume room in your player-owned house. It's a cool way to keep track of what you have and it saves a lot of bank space. If you haven't imbued any rings or other imbuables and you get black demons, trolls, or hellhounds as a slayer task, you can complete them within the nightmare zone while AFKing. At level 1 runecrafting, even before completing rune mysteries, you can create tiaras at any runecrafting altar, even if you don't have the level. If you're standing at the GE and can't remember what construction materials you need to build the next upgrade in your player-owned house, you can click on the construction skill icon and then click on what you want to build and it'll tell you the required materials without having to Google anything. In RuneScape, the magic defense of a non-player character is entirely based on their magic level. So that means if a monster has level 1 magic and under 1 magic defense bonus, then it means you can have a negative magic attack bonus and still be as accurate as if you were wearing magic gear. For players, on the other hand, 70% of their magic defense is their magic level and 30% is their defense. So with that, using magic boosting prayers will also increase your magic defense as well as your magic attack, making it very useful in conjunction with protect from magic. The Woodcutting Guild, the Fishing Guild, and the Mining Guild give an invisible +7 skill boost in their specific skills anywhere within the area of the guild. This makes training those 3 skills faster in their appropriate guild. When changing your RuneScape player name, I suggest doing it on the runescape.com website rather than doing it in-game. Changing your name on the website locks your previous name and no one else can take it. But changing it in-game voids this and anyone can take your old name. An excellent tip for bossing is bringing a rune pouch with lava runes, nature runes, and water runes. This allows you to cast high-level alchemy and the Bones to Peaches spell in one inventory slot. With Fossil Island came mushroom pies, which are an affordable and easy way to boost your crafting level by 4 levels. You can boost by more with spicy stews, but a +4 boost is massive and they're very easy to get on an Iron Man. When doing a fruit tree or regular tree run, instead of cutting down the tree and digging it up, you can pay the gardener 200 coins to instantly remove it. While you're bossing and need to eat, it's a good idea to walk under the boss so that it can't deal any damage while you can't attack back. This works great for so many bosses like Bandos, Callisto, the King Black Dragon, but don't do this at the Corporal Beast because you will get stomped. A hidden bonus that comes from switching your attack style to defensive is that it invisibly boosts your defense level by 3. So this means if you're trying to get away from PKs or need a little bit more defense, you can switch to defensive for that passive defense level. While mining any type of ore, if you wear an Amulet of Glory, there's a 1 in 86 chance of getting a gem out of the rock. Normally without a glory, it's 1 in 256. If you're new to PKing, a very handy tip for switches is to keep them at the top of your inventory while having the food at the bottom. This keeps it organized and won't rearrange your gear when you change it. If you're really struggling to get up to Jad or complete the Inferno, Onyx Bolts E provide an 11% chance of healing 25% of what you hit. So that's a bit of a passive healing effect, but they are very expensive. When fighting Turoths or Kurasks, you can't deal damage without using leaf-bladed weaponry. Well, a Saradomin Godsword special attack on them won't actually hit anything, but you'll still be healed for what you would have hit, as well as a regeneration of your prayer points. The fastest way to charge a Dragon Fire Shield or Dragon Fire Ward is by going to the Catacombs of Kuren to the Bronze or Iron Dragons. This is a multi-combat area and there can be up to 5 dragons on you at once. To stay at 1 hit points at the Nightmare Zone, you can flick the Rapid Heal prayer just before every minute's up and you won't go above 1 hit point. Number 40, if you're going PKing, bossing, or slaying in the wilderness, a great offhand item to take is the God Books, since you can reclaim them for free or for a small fee from Purdue. Sometimes when you're PKing, you'll hear someone getting damaged while you're at the bank. That means someone is dealing damage to a player that you've done more damage to, hence you'll get the drop if they die. So if you hear a noise, look at your chat box in case they do die so you can find your loot. The Staff of Light, which didn't actually exist in 2007 and came in 2009, functions as 2 god items in the God Wars dungeon. It works as a Saradomin item and a Zamorak item. Whenever you're paying for protection of a tree patch, if the protection cost is less than 1/8 of the seed price, then it's worth protecting the plant, since seeds have a 1 in 8 chance of dying. If you have a low defense level and get assigned Daggernauts, it's a good idea to bring noted food and coins with you, since there's a general store upstairs where you can unnote it. Whenever you're training a gathering skill like woodcutting, where you'd be banking items you've collected, a fast way to bank when there's a bank deposit box is use them on the deposit box and hold down the number 4 key, and it will bank them all instantly. When using a cannon in a single combat area, it will attack all of the monsters as if it's multi-combat if you're in a safe spot. This works great in Neve's Slayer Cave when using ranged. Void Knight robe bottoms give a better magic defense bonus than Black D'hide chaps, making it better to wear than chaps for tasks like Bloodvelds or for killing Skatizo. When training agility, your weight doesn't affect how often you fall, even if you weigh 100 kilos. Your agility level is all that matters. When entering an instance bossed area where you have to pay for it, you can save an inventory space by not bringing any money with you. You can pay for an instance directly from the bank. Throughout certain boss fights in Old School, the Dragon Warhammer and BGS become great buyable spec weps. In cases where your team has both, always allow the Dragon Warhammers to go first, because they lower by a percentage rather than a value. The Magic Tutor in Lumbridge has a similar toggle to the ranged one, but this time you can pick up runes off the ground and they'll go straight into your rune pouch. Every type of metal arrow in RuneScape has a 20% chance of breaking, even when wearing the Ava's accumulator. While it might seem false, bronze arrows and dragon arrows break at exactly the same rate. If you have some fully uncharged Dragonstone jewelry in your bank, you can buy a charged Dragonstone jewelry scroll off the Grand Exchange for under 500 coins, and it'll charge all of the jewelry in your inventory with just 1 scroll. This scroll works only on the Glory, Skills Necklace, and the Combat Bracelet, for some reason not on the Ring of Wealth. Getting from level 1 to 30 agility increases your run regeneration rate by around 30%, but in contrast, getting from 70 to 99 agility will only increase it by about 15%. So those starter agility levels are very important for run regeneration. The Wintertodt damages you differently based on how much energy it has remaining. After 50%, the number of times you'll get damaged decreases a lot. Then after 20%, it's around once a minute, sometimes even longer. The Fishing Trawler minigame teleport is a really useful teleport if you don't have a quick way to the bank. It only requires 15 fishing to use it and teleports you right next to the bank chest. If you make your way to the eastern side of Keldagrim and trade with Herko, you can buy a bolt pouch for 1.5k. These pouches hold 4 types of bolts and makes it a great way to save space if you're using different types for things like the Fire Caves, Inferno, or PKing. Always check your opponent's inventory thoroughly. If you're whip staking, anyone with a Hasta, Dragon Warhammer, or a Garazi Rapier will have an advantage, so watch out for those. Number 59, if you're going into the wilderness, it's a good idea to bring or sip an extended anti-fire in case there's PKs around with the Dragon Bolt E special attack. It's a good idea to keep a tab in your bank of items you want to sell. You save a lot of time by selling a lot of items at once, so you don't have to keep making your way to the Grand Exchange. At the Urania altar, you may notice that when following another player, you can get stuck behind rocks. By using an item on another player or trading with them, your pathing will be different, and you'll follow the exact same path as them. Scrying pools are unlocked at 80 construction, and they allow you to see what's at the location of your teleport. This is specifically useful for the Anakal teleport. You can check if there's any PKs there. There's a downstairs Slayer area in the Mauritania Slayer Tower. Down here, there's gargoyles that are far less crowded than the ones upstairs. At the King Black Dragon, even when using ranged, your trips will last a lot longer if you bring a couple of prayer potions and stand next to him with Protect from melee. This is because some of his attacks will get replaced by melee attacks, which will always be a 0. To get slightly faster cooking XP per hour, you can use the final fish in your inventory on the fire right after your second last one to cook it straight away on the next game tick. A lot of old school clients show the status of current farming patches, while a more accurate way is using the Geomancy spell available on the Lunar Spellbook. It has a really nice layout and shows everything you need to know. This tip is very useful and important for Iron Men. Selling items to specialized stores rather than a general store will give you a lot more money. For example, with Mithril Plate Legs, the general store gives me around a K. Selling to the Plate Leg store, I get more than the alchemy value. Instead of bringing teleport tablets as a one-click teleport, you can bring a rune pouch with 3 different types of runes for a one-click teleport in your spellbook, while it still only uses 1 inventory slot. Pairing super anti-fire potions with protect from magic gives you full protection from anti-fire even without an anti-dragon shield. You will still take quite a lot of damage with just an anti-fire potion. Swamp crabs reside south of Port Phasmatys, and they're similar to rock crabs in that they're great for training at a low level, but these guys have a negative range defense bonus, making them one of the best places to train at a really low range level. This next one isn't really vital, but when you teleport to Tears of Guthix, if you find it's too dark for your screen, you can teleport there again and you'll be exposed to the full brightness. Bones to Peaches aren't only useful for bossing, you can take the tablets along to slay a task like Hellhounds and stay there forever. Opening clue scrolls on Entrana rerolls items that are weapons or armor, so that gives a better chance for god pages on easy clues, but don't do this for medium clues and above. When auto-casting magic and you select the defensive option, you actually get more overall XP. Regularly, for each damage point with magic, you get 2 magic XP and 1.33 hit points XP, but with defensive on, you get 1.33 in magic and hit points, and 1 in defense. If you've recently been cleaned in Old School and need a cheap training weapon to start killing stuff for money, salamanders provide good attack and strength bonuses with very cheap ammunition. Be very wary using the Din's Bulwark in the wilderness. The special attack deals damage in a group, and you will get skulled if you use the special attack on someone that attacked you and it hits someone else. The fastest way to get salve shards to make salve amulets is go behind the haunted mine to the second minecart entry and then run all the way east to the other side and to the door on the south, and this takes you right next to them. On Old School Mobile, the best thing to do to save battery is lower your frame rate. To do that, go to settings, then the joystick in the top right, then the mobile phone, and you can change it to an unfixed frame rate, which is the default 30, 20, and 15 frames per second. Burying bones in the catacombs of Kuren restores prayer points. Bones restore 1, big bones restore 2, and dragon bones restore 4. The loading time of your player-owned house is actually longer if you have more rooms and levels, so the best thing to do if you go into your house a lot is try have a maximum of 9 rooms, a 3x3 layout. Don't break your Barrows gear when you're selling it. Instead, you can take it to your player-owned house or Bob and pay a smaller amount to repair it than what you would lose from breaking it. With the requirement of starting Dragon Slayer to use anti-dragon shields and potions, you can now avoid any Dragon Slayer task by not starting the quest. This can help you skip those really long Iron and Steel Dragon tasks. If you're currently at a bank and are poisoned or venomed, you can withdraw an antidote and click your health icon to drink it while in the bank. That avoids the last damage before exiting the bank. The egg launcher in Barbarian Assault doesn't lower the amount of points your team gets overall. The only thing that lowers your overall team points is if you do a wrong action or command. With level 60 attack, you can use the Dragon Pickaxe, Axe, or Harpoon special attack to get a temporary +3 boost in their skill every 5 minutes. You can do this at any skill level, and it takes 5 minutes to get your full special attack bar back. The Preserved Prayer Scroll is at its alchemy value at under 50k, so that's cool to unlock for any account now. Reading it will unlock the Preserved Prayer, which lowers the rate at which your stats drain when they're boosted. Near the Chambers of Xeric or Raids 1, there's a barbarian fishing spot, which is far less crowded and a different environment to the waterfall area. Number 88, when doing a clue scroll in the wilderness where you need to bring extra items with you, a clue box is very useful. Dying with a clue in your inventory with the clue box will destroy the clue box, but keep the clue scroll no matter what. When you're training construction and you're going to remove a piece of furniture, it's best to speak to your butler the tick after that, since you can keep the 1 key held down for both of the options. During the Shades of Morton quest, you get a diary from searching the damaged shelf. If you take this to the apothecary in Varrock, he'll give you 335 Herblore XP. Pretty neat for Iron Men. PKing with sounds on is very important. An example is fighting someone using Dragon Bolt's E. You can hear the Dragonfire special attack happening before the damage hits you, which allows you to eat early. The Soul Bearer, which is gotten from the Bear Your Soul mini quest, is an excellent item to bring to Slayer tasks. It's charged with soul runes, and with a soul rune, it automatically picks up an ensouled head and puts it in the bag. If you don't have many pets and you want to populate your house menagerie with animals, you can buy a bunch of toy cats and let them loose in there all day. The Sulfur vent next to the Inferno is actually a cooking spot, making it one of the best non-moving spots right next to a bank. When you die in the wilderness with a wilderness weapon, even if you keep it on death, all of the ether will drop to the ground. This means don't overcharge it. Castle Wars is now a free-to-play minigame. To access it, you can use the minigame teleport in the minigame list, or you can use the teleport portal from Clan Wars to go straight there. When smithing at the Varrock Anvil, you can zoom out and keep your camera facing east to allow you to click the anvil and go back to the bank without having to move the camera. Always ensure your email link to your RuneScape account is two-factor authenticated. This ensures you can get your account back in the case of a recovery or hack. After setting a bank pin, you can speak to a banker to set up a 5-minute delay on your current device before you need to re-enter your pin if you log out. Bringing a herb sack 3-ticking is very helpful in case you accidentally make the tar. Another alternative is bringing grimy herbs and different types of herbs with you. Tip 101, when on a Turos or Kurask Slayer task, always use the leaf-bladed battle axe. It gives an invisible 17.5% damage and accuracy boost against both of these monsters, making it far better than the sword. That's 101 tips for Old School RuneScape. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, be sure to subscribe for more old school videos. I'm so close to 100,000 and it blows me away every day at how fast my channel's growing. So thank you, I really do appreciate the support, and as always guys, thanks for watching and have a nice day.